Hello everyone, my name is Mai Nguyen and I'm a registered migration agent here at AWST Group. And thank you for everyone who's joined our Facebook Live right now. Today's topic is ART or IMI refusal of your, let's say, student visa application. So I understand that not many people would be affected by this particular kind of issue, and I hope that nobody gets affected and you have to go through the ART. But if you do, then today's kind of session would give you somewhat of an overall kind of feel. And obviously, I have to emphasize that it's not the end of the world if you do get an IMI refusal notification of your, let's say, the student visa application that you lodged many months ago and you've been waiting for so long. And suddenly out of the blue, you'd expect to be granted the visa that you applied for, like the student visa, but instead you got a refusal notification that they refused your student visa application. So again, I want to say that it's not the end of the world. There's a way out of this if you can prove that you are still a genuine applicant for the visa application that you applied for. So if you can prove that you are a genuine international student, there's every chance that you will win at the ART and then you'll get your student visa granted to you eventually. Okay, so I don't want to trouble you with too much of the technical jargon or the legal aspect of it, because if you receive a refusal notification, you need to know, exactly what's next, what to do within the short period of time that you are going to be provided for. So know that if you receive a refusal notification from immigration, because you applied for a visa onshore in Australia, effectively your rights are protected by law, which means that you have appeals review rights. Okay, you can appeal to, before they called it the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, but now it's just the Appeals Review Tribunal, ART for short. So you have within 28 days to appeal to the ART for you to be able to appeal the decision that was made by the Immigration Department to decide to refuse your visa application. So today we'll be mainly talking about immigration refusal of a student visa application, okay, to be simple for you to understand. Now, apart from that, if anybody else who applied for any other visa onshore in Australia, and if you did not get the visa granted, but you got a refusal, for sure you still have appeals rights, and then you apply accordingly to the ART yourself as well. But today we want to focus on, let's say, the student visa application that an applicant would have lodged a few months ago. It could have been like even a year ago, because we notice that now increasingly there's been a severe delay in the processing time of visa application. So you could be waiting for many months and then expecting sooner or later to get your visa granted, the student visa granted, but instead you got a refusal. Okay, so again, you have within 28 days to lodge an appeal if you don't want to go home. Right. So after receiving a notification, and if you want to fight, then you have every right to do so in Australia. So please look into that. Be aware that you have a small window of opportunity within 28 days from the date that you receive your notification of the refusal. Okay, and for you to apply to the ART. Now know that right now, currently the fees for the ART is $3,496. To pay to them once you apply to them. So it's not cheap, but it's also as a mechanism to try to not encourage people to just apply willy-nilly. So it'll be worth your while to be prepared that if you choose to go on this ART route, you want to appeal immigration's decision, then you need to be responsible to collect all the documents, information to try to prove that you are still considered a genuine applicant for the student visa application that you lodged before. Okay, but once you've applied to the ART, know that you're now safe, because practically Immigration Department will leave you alone for the time being, because your matter is now with the ART. Okay, so once you apply to ART, then you just wait, because the processing time for the appeals tribunal could take many months. So it's not going to normally, it won't be like the next day they're going to reach your application online and then schedule a hearing or something. So it could take roughly now even more than 6 to 8 months for any response that you receive from the ART, the tribunal, okay? So, while you're waiting, I do encourage you to keep on studying and don't miss a day. You want to still try to prove that you are a genuine applicant for the student visa that has not yet been granted to you. So to be able to win successfully at the ART, you want to prove that you are a genuine student by continuing to study. So do not somehow be in a position where the college, the institution, the university decides to cancel your CUE because you did not attend class or you did not pay the tuition fees. It's important that you have a current CUE in place at all times while you're waiting, most probably on a bridging visa A, while you're waiting to hear back from the tribunal or when they schedule a hearing and all that, okay? During the time that you're waiting, that's the time when you need to continue to study, and also the time for you to start collating information, documents to prove that you are still considered, you just consider yourself as a genuine applicant for the student visa. So it depends on what happened at the very beginning when you received the refusal letter from Immigration Department. You should read very carefully the reasons why they provided, why they refused your student visa application, okay? Because from those details of the reasons why they chose to refuse your student visa application, you need to try, or come to me or any other migration agents at Ausis Group for us to help you. We'll look at how to mitigate this whole dilemma, all right, by trying to rebut or try to argue or try to explain further the different kind of details that immigration uses, and pointed out that because of this, that's why they decide to refuse your visa application, because either they don't believe in your submission that you will intend to only temporarily stay in Australia. Once you finish your studies, you'll go back home, right? So we try to mitigate that by proving that no, for sure, that once you finish your studies, then you will go home, because then you're qualified, and then or the intention was only to get qualified in Australia. You believe in the education system of Australia. You value the system, the education that you paid for with good money. But then after that, you will go home, because then you're going to pursue your career back home in your home country, right? That's what you want to prove. So we need to collate all the documents and information to make sure that when we have a scheduled hearing, then we can prepare everything, and then we provide the submission statement, and then we go and attend the hearing to fight at the AAT hearing, okay? Now, know that while you're on a bridging visa A, waiting on ART, right? And if you need to go offshore, to go home to visit your family members or go anywhere in the world, right, because you need to go offshore and you want to come back because you're still waiting to go to attend the AAT hearing one of these days. Holding a bridging visa A, you must apply for a bridging visa B and wait for it to be granted successfully for you to know that you will be able to come back into Australia successfully. If anybody forgets and decides, if you're on AAT and you're holding a bridging visa A and then you want to travel outside, if you forgot to apply for your bridging visa B and not yet got it granted, you will not be able to get back into Australia. So that's something you need to be aware. So keep that in mind moving forward. So let's say while you're waiting for more than 8 months, up to 12 months, and suddenly out of the blue, you receive a further notification from ART. Most probably, it is the first thing they will do is ask for more information. So they'll give you a link to click on to provide further details over an information form that you fill in. There'll be questions about what courses of studies are you studying at the moment, are you working, what family members you have, the details of who you are for them to get more information from you. You fill in that form and then you send back to them. There's a short window of opportunity for you to do so. If you choose not, you neglect to send back the form within the requested time that they give you, then there's a chance that they may decide against you, and even you may lose your ART rights, like in terms of the application, they'll just make a decision against you. It has happened in the past. It's not always the case. They sometimes, as a courtesy, remind you to send back the form, but it's a discretion. It's not like they must mandatory remind you. So if you don't send the form, you may be in trouble with your application. But once you receive that request for more information, know that sooner or later, and usually it's sooner than later, they will schedule a hearing date for you, okay, from the time when you send back the form to them. And it could be a couple of months later that they will schedule a hearing for a date for you to attend at the tribunal itself. Now, it could be physically that you go to the hearing in St. George's Terrace in WA, or anywhere that you're located in your state, or else they can choose to do online over video conference. Okay, if the member are so busy that they decide that it would be better for them, then they would choose to set the date and the time and for over video conferencing. So we can all connect to each other online on like a Zoom meeting, like on Teams or Zoom, and then we all can see each other, and then the member will conduct the hearing virtually. Okay, a lot of times, mainly we have to go physically to the actual tribunal in the city, and then so with that, when they schedule that, you need to respond accordingly, and then at that time, if you need an interpreter, then you need to advise ART for them to book an interpreter in your native language. Now, that's all covered by the taxpayers, so the ART will pay for that interpreter for you on the day, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, I do strongly recommend that if you can speak in English as much as possible, you want to show that you have a good grasp somewhat of the English language. You should only use the interpreter only when necessary, not as a, just let it go and keep on, because it's going to delay the hearing to drag it even further than what is necessary. And it irritates the member a lot, okay? But of course they won't tell you that. But you should try to prove that, you've been here long enough, you've studied while at school, you've learned and improved upon your English. You want to show off that, your English skills are pretty good or something. So it's what goes towards the merit of your application, okay, that you're a good student. So try to minimally use the interpreter service as minimal as possible. So, okay, if they schedule a hearing, we go to the hearing, because ultimately that's the main thing. You want to try to win at the hearing, right? Or you want to have your chance to explain your case, to have a day in court, but we don't call it a court because it's not a court. It doesn't look like a court at all. It's just like a small office space. Usually there'll be the member and the secretary who oversees with the technical things and all that, or could be just the member themselves, either a woman or a man, and then you, and if you have a representative like myself, a migration agent can sit next to you to represent you, and then away we go. And it's all recorded, but you're not allowed to turn on your telephone, and you're not allowed to record anything. So if you need a recording, you can get a copy of that afterwards. But know that this is your chance to shine. This is your chance to argue, or not argue really, but place your story towards the member. Now, we call the person representing the ART as the member. So you don't call her sir or him, sir or madam, and you don't call them your honor, anything like that. We just call them member. So yes, member, no member, right? And know that at the very beginning, when you need to be sworn in, that you have to be prepared to agree, to swear that whatever you say moving forward is the truth, okay? Either you can swear on a Bible or you do an affirmation, so that we all trust that whatever you say is the truth, okay? Now, so most of the time, the member will directly speak to you for the most part of the hearing, okay? Because they want to hear from you verbally, and they will check you out really, because when they ask you questions and you respond, they will kind of like check to see how truthful you are, the way your demeanor, how confident you are, how honest you look, and all that. It all comes together, right? It's not just the submission that we would have had to provide to the AIT at least 7 days before the hearing. So they've got all the, the storyline, all the documents provided attached to the submission to support the stance that we have, that you are still considering that you are a genuine applicant and that you deserve to be granted a student visa back. That's all in writing. But now at the hearing, they really want to see you, and also know that, and they will confirm at the very beginning that the member will say to you something like to the just that they're not immigration's friend. They're independent of the immigration department. So the AIT is another government body, but they are not considered a friend of immigration. If they can help to save you, they will. But of course, they have to still follow the guidelines of the statutes, the legal ramifications. So, but if they listen to your story, if they are convinced by you from the way you talk and the way you convince them by reasoning and explanation and all that, they have the full authority to recommend immigration to grant you the student visa that you applied for. So that's the power of the AIT, okay? So it's all about trying to be convincing, trying to show that you are a genuine student. So how do you prove that? Well, of course, there's certain documents that you can prepare beforehand and, show them through your submission by going back to the college. Once you know you've got an AIT hearing coming up, then you have time. They usually give you at least 1 month in advance, up to 2 months, from what I see, for you to prepare yourself. So there's no excuse that you haven't got things ready before you go to the hearing, right? So you can go back to the school, the college, university. Usually, if you study vocational, then you can go easily to go back to the international college and say, well, can you please give me a letter to confirm my attendance rate? So usually we want to see that you have at least around 90% plus attendance rate to show that you are a good student, that you attend class nearly every day of the week, right? Or 2 or 3 days or whatever that's required of the course. And then also probably the printout of the academic transcript so far. If you haven't fully completed your course, then know that, there's still left to go. That's good. Just print out whatever that you've already completed to show that this is my progress. I've only got maybe a few more units to go. Please help me to get my student visa grant so I can fully finish my course. So now there may be a chance for those people who, what if you've lodged your application for your merits review, AIT application, and then it's been delayed for whatever reason. They have not yet scheduled a hearing date for you, and you've just completed your diploma in hospitality management. Know that you think, oh, in that case, I don't need to study anymore. I'm just waiting for the AIT hearing to happen, and then I'll go and I'll try to argue my case and all that. Well, no. If you have no current CUE in place, even if you go to the AIT, they'll say, where's the current CUE? With no current CUE, why are we wasting our time today? Because I can't help you. Because in effect, for immigration to grant you a student visa, you must show that you have a current CUE in place. So which means that if you've already completed your studies and you still have not received a notification of a hearing date coming up anytime soon from the AIT, you need to think of enrolling to study further. Okay, so if you finish a diploma of hospitality, the next rung that's relevant to your course would be, for example, the advanced diploma of hospitality management. Then you should at least enroll to do a further studies, right? So keep that in mind, that you're not safe to just completely stop studying, because it would just ruin the whole idea. There's no point, because you can't progress with the AIT to even have a chance to win it without a current CUE in place. So they need to see a current CUE. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a good chance, just keep in mind, a lot of times when you receive a refusal of a student visa application, it's because generally, a lot of times, the case officer of the day did not believe in your story. So if you wrote a GST or a GTE and you submitted with a student visa application, there's a chance when they refuse it's because based upon GTE, the genuineness, they don't believe in that you were genuine, even though you yourself thought you were genuine. You did nothing wrong. You had the full financial capacity to show, with all the right the amount of money that you need to show to prove that you are capable financially to study in Australia. You have the English all cleared. It's just when you submit the submission to say, okay, the reason why I want to study this course is this, and I've done my full research even, and I've chosen to do this because I want to become a chef, or I want to become an engineer, or whatever, right? And you apply for a student visa. Now, if they come back and they simply say, well, yeah, we note you've provided all the documentations, yeah, okay, but then we refuse your visa application, student visa application, because we don't think that you have the intention to temporarily stay in Australia for whatever reason. That's their call. We have no control over that, right? And once they made the decision, there's no way you can come back and try to give more information. Say, hey, can you reconsider this again, my application? Because once they made the decision, your only chance to fight is through the ART, okay? So now when we go to the ART, my personal experience as a migration agent acting for my clients for ART, for student visa refusals, I'm not too concerned or too scared for you if you got a student visa refusal because of GTE, because at the end of the day, it's their words against yours. It's their reasoning. They have all the right to decide against you. But then you have still got a chance to still be convincing to show that you are still genuine if you keep on studying, right? If they mark you down because of GT, because they don't believe in this and that, fine. But if you continue to study, there's every chance you have the best chance to win it, most times, from my experience, okay? So why? How? It's because the simple fact that you did not stop studying, you did not give up. You say inwardly and outwardly, because you're showing of the fact that you keep on studying, you're paying the tuition fees, you're going to class every day that's required, 2 or 3 days, or every day of the course that's required. What have you done wrong, right? Because you purposely say, well, I think this course is going to be beneficial for me before, once I finish my studies, I'll go home. So what have you done wrong? So in this kind of simple scenario of studying, continue to study, don't stop, and then paying the tuition fees and trying to progress as much as possible, don't fail too many units because they'll question, are you really studying or just wasting time and all that, right? But generally, if you keep on trying to study, there's a very good chance you'll be easily be convincing in front of the member when you go to the hearing, okay? Because we have so many different other information that we can submit to try to show, to reinforce that you are a genuine student, you've done nothing wrong, you're paying the tuition fees, you attend the class, and you're just waiting to graduate, okay? Of course, there's other factors involved, but that's the day, or when you book an appointment to see me, of course, or any of my colleagues are the migration agents. We're here to help you because we have done so many of these applications. It's like second nature. You know, we are more than qualified to assist you if ever you receive a refusal of a student visa application or any other visa application that you applied for onshore. If it's onshore, then you definitely have the right to appeal to the ART. You have merits review rights. So don't think it's the end of the world. It's still salvageable, but come to see us and we'll discuss with you, because every story is different, right? Everybody's, their situation is different. We will tailor according to your needs, according to your situation. We'll give you the best advice to help guide you to be able to win at the ART, okay? So unless there's any questions, I think I'd like to end here. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have if anybody's on right now live with me. So how do I see if there's any kind of questions at all? Let me just see if there's anything. Like 1 minute. Okay. Okay, I don't know, chat. Okay, let me see. Somebody said hi there. Well, hi there to you too, but I don't know if you're still in the thing. So if you want to ask me any questions, I welcome you. I'll give you another minute. I'll wait. If I see any messages pop up, then I'm happy to respond live, or else we'll just finish the live session soon. So I think we could end that now. So thank you for anybody who's going to who has attended this session, and for people who come across afterwards. Then if you have any questions, please reach out to me, Mai Nguyen at aussisgroup.com, or else, you know, to any of our migration agents at Aussisgroup. We're here to help you. Okay, so thank you.